Welcome to Flash Tutorial, Halloween Scene Part 8. Naturally a follow-up to Part 7, which I have on my computer now. Select this frame 11 of the labels, open the Properties panel, and give it a name, Sky End. Copy that name, that label name. Open up the Dark Sky movie clip, and on the last frame of the Actions layer, open up the Actions panel and get rid of this 11, paste in that Sky End and put it in quotations. Back to scene 1. Select the next frame, which is frame 12. Insert a blank keyframe on this labels layer and give this frame a name, and it's called Fence Spar, as in fence sparkles. Select the Sky End layer, insert a layer, call it Fence Sparkle, and at this time all you're going to have is a lineup of nothing in any of these frames. Select this frame 12, insert a blank keyframe, lock all the layers, open up the library panel, make a new symbol, make it a movie clip, and call it Fence, F-E-N-C, capital S-P-A, Sparkle, End, E-N-D, underscore M-C. Fence Spark underscore MC. And when you say OK, you will have gone inside this movie clip. And inside this movie clip, on one layer, I have several things. I have the ground on that layer. I have the Red Sky movie clip on that layer. I have the house movie clip on that layer. And I have the crypt no door movie clip on that layer. Now you can put them all on different layers if you want. I believe I went to the Sky End movie clip. I moved it along to here and I unlocked the appropriate frames, and I picked up my sky, my ground, my house, and my crypt, and I just copied them, or I did them one at a time. But some, like for example, I picked the host up, like unlock the host layer, double click on it, copy it, and then eventually I pasted them in place so that I have them on this frame where they should be. Use whatever method you want to get these images on this frame. They don't have to be movie clip because this is a static scene. Make sure all the layers are locked. Select this Fence Sparkle layer and insert a layer. Call it Fence Guide, and on frame 12 of that Fence Guide, put in a blank keyframe. And while we're here on this Fence Sparkle, go up to frame 20 and insert a keyframe. So let's go back to this Fence Guide layer. It's going to be very similar to what we had before. Open your library panel, make a new movie clip, and you're going to call that movie clip Fence Guide, F-E-N-G-U-I-D-E underscore MC. When you get inside of it, here you are, you're inside of it, and you're going to do something very similar to what we did before. You're going to start by start from the bottom. On frame number 13, insert a blank keyframe, and that layer, call it sparkle. On frame 13, insert another layer, call it guide, and on frame 13 of that layer, insert a keyframe. You're going to insert another layer, call it sparkle. On frame 29, insert a keyframe. Insert another layer, call it guide. On frame 29, insert another keyframe, and you're going to make an action scripts layer. Okay. And whatever means you choose to use. So what you want to do is, here on the stage, if I lock all my layers, I have that right there, that sparkle movie clip, one we made before. So all you're going to do is open the library panel, find that sparkle movie clip, drag it on the scene, but you're not going to be privileged to be able to see this. Okay, you're going to just have a blank background because I've gotten this made. So let's go back to scene 1 for a minute, just to show you what you have. And while you have that house and that all that stuff on there from this here previous layer, this one, make sure you have this fence guide layer selected, frame 12, then open up your panel, and this fence guide movie clip that you're just making, drag it in, it'll be that sparkle little circle, and put it right there. Then you can double click on it, and now you're inside this movie clip. Just take and move your sparkle somewhere else on the stage, anywhere for now. Go up to frame 48 and make that a tween. So you would have a tween going on here. Lock that layer, open up this layer, you just have one keyframe in here, that's all you have, and draw this path. Remember, this is a fence. There's going to be two parts. One's going to go here, the other one's going to go here. So just draw that path to there, and go up here and insert a keyframe. Don't worry about that other line that just showed up. Once you have that done, lock the guide layer, select your sparks layer, select that last frame of the sparkle, and then drag wherever you had your sparkle before, drag it and put it here at the end of the guide, and it should be on this one here already. Now, this next sparkle one, this next sparkle starts at frame 12, and right here is another sparkle movie clip. Make sure all the layers are locked except for this second sparkle layer. Select this frame 29, and right here you're going to open your library, and you're going to find that sparkles movie clip, this one here. You're going to drag it in and put it somewhere around here. Forget this now. Once you got, make sure it's on that line though, somewhere close to that line. Then you forget these two for a minute. Go up to frame 48, and just like you did before, put that sparkle movie clip somewhere else on the stage. Then do a tween, so you have just a short tween somewhere. Lock that sparkle layer, unlock this layer you're calling guide. You have this frame selected. From where that sparkle was, draw any way you want and drop down the other side of the house. That's where the second half of a fence is going to go. And put in a keyframe here at the 49, then do the same thing. Unlock the sparkle layer, go to that last frame, drag it from wherever you had it to the end here, and go back to frame 1 and make sure it starts there. So now you're getting this effect of where there's going to be two fences dropping out. And finally, on the actions layer, You have a stop, and you have this sending us to something called fence up. I'm going to copy that, so you're typing all this in, copy it, and that'll be our next frame on scene 1. Let's go back to scene 1, and right here insert another blank keyframe and paste in that new name, fence up. Make sure all the layers are locked. Select this fence guide layer, insert a layer, call it fence end, and on frame 13 put in a keyframe. Again, you don't have all this in here yet. Don't worry about this yet. So you have a keyframe here, or a blank keyframe, and on that keyframe you're going to put 2 fences. Oops, too big. You're going to put one right here on this end of the house, and I believe this is the one that we made directly from the puzzle. So it's just if I double click on it, just a fence, and then I modified it a little bit and I put a second one over here. Go back up to the actions layer, insert a blank keyframe, insert a blank keyframe, open it up, put a stop, S-T-O-P, open close semicolon, copy that, and put a stop in here. I'm going to open the sky and movie clip in the last frame of the actions layer, and we have a stop in there, and we need to get back to scene 1, that frame called fence spar. So let's type that code in here. Let's try it again. And again, I'm going to skip a lot of this video. And because we've seen those fences, we know that we must have gone into this next frame, frame 13, which we labeled fence up. We now have to do something similar for the trees. Make sure all your layers are locked. Select the fence layer, insert a new layer, call it tree spar, and on frame 14 put a blank keyframe, insert a blank keyframe here on the labels layer, select that layer, open the properties panel, call it tree up, go to the actions layer, insert a blank keyframe, open the panel, put a stop in here, and just like before, I want you to open your library, new symbol, and call it tree guide underscore MC. Okay. You don't have it made yet. You're inside that tree guide movie clip, and again you only have one frame. So make a layer, call it spark, make a layer called guide, another one called spark, guide, and an action script. And I don't think I have to go through this too much because we're doing the same thing. We have a guided sparkle movie clip. Then there are the sparkle movie clips here. These are the sparkle movie clips. If I click on it, that's that sparkle movie clip, the same one we used over and over. And the difference here is, instead of only having 2 paths for it to take, I have a 3rd path. So when it reaches this frame that I'm on now, this frame 29, I add in, here's the original, if you look, there's 1, then I'm adding 2 more on my guide, so I'm going to have 3 trees pop up. I just took the original tree and changed its shape to get 3 of them. The 3 layers you're using for guides, make sure you change their status from normal layers to guide layers. I'm going up to frame 48 for all these, and on my action code I have a blank keyframe, and I put this code in here, stop, and this directs me to back to scene 1, and that frame we just called tree up. Once you have that, go back to scene 1. This tree spar layer, I put it here on frame 14, and that should be back here on frame 13. Make sure all the layers are locked. Select that tree spire layer, insert a layer, call it tree end, select frame 14, and all that I have on this layer is 3 trees. 1, 2, 3. And those 3 trees will be where the 3 things hit the ground. Now what you can do to align those 3 trees after you made them, make those 3 trees, put them where you want them, then unlock this tree sparkle layer, click right here and insert a keyframe for now. That puts it right there, so that when I double click on it and get inside of this movie clip, tree guided, this first tree here, right here, which is this point, which goes all the way up to this tree right here. So if I hide all the layers except that one and my guide, I can then, if let's say this tree was actually over here, I could then move my guide to put it to where the tree is. But make sure when you go back to scene 1, you finish, that you remove that frame. So let's test this out. Again, I'm going to cut it short. There's the fences, and hopefully here's the 3 trees. So again, we know we went to that next frame. I think that's enough for this tutorial. Save the FLA if you plan on doing part 9. Hope you learned something from this tutorial, and I hope you use what you learn.